Let me start with a quote for a new year. Look, India has become the biggest importer of oil. Stay out! I repeat the sentence. You have to put the country's interest above your own.
Hello, welcome to this special BWBusinessWorld dialogue. As we enter 2026, we want to create growth for ourselves. We want our country to be better. We want our thought processes to be invigorated by the right thoughts that galvanizes us into action. Today we have a guest who's motivated many audiences globally, who's written books, who's been an activist. And let's talk to him about how do we build a great India in 2026. Let me welcome Mr. Shiv Khera to the BWBusinessWorld dialogue. Mr. Khera, we are starting a new year in 2026 and India is doing well. Our GDP is doing well. The economy is doing well. There is a stable government. There is seemingly abundance everywhere. In Gurgaon, we have condos that sell for $10 million. We seem to be doing well. Is there anything left to be done in India?
Annurag, since we are getting into the new year, let me start with a quote for a new year. See, for a winner, every day is January 1st. Have you noticed there are people who make New Year resolutions and they break it faster than they make it? But for a winner, every day is January 1st. They can resolve any time and change their life and move for the better. That's one. So let's start off from that one. Now, you just mentioned that economy is doing well, everything is doing great, condos are selling, and that is true. But at the same time, we all want to see India at the top level. We want to, because Viksit Bharat is the objective of the Prime Minister for 2047, and which says zero poverty, zero illiteracy, zero this, zero that. All those things have been mentioned in those 6-point programs and $37 trillion economy that we are looking at, which is the target for 2047. Now, look, it's nice to have good dreams. It is important, and unless we have big targets and good targets, we can never achieve anything. Now, most important thing is, Annurag, targets are good, and dreams, if they are not acted upon, they turn into nightmares. I repeat, dream, if they are not acted upon, they turn into nightmares. Now, where is the action plan? And all the plans that we have done in the past, and let us take literally the last 12 years. Why? Because I have been supporting BJP myself. I've campaigned for them for the last couple of elections, and I believe in their ideology, certainly, no doubt about that. But sadly, in the last 12 years, the kind of things that could have been done and should have been done got missed. Now, people say, look at the positive, glass half full, half empty. Well, that is true. Important thing is, yes, probably 1.5 crore of toilets have been made, which was very important, gave dignity to our women folks. That is true. And at the same time, housings have come up and electricity has reached pretty much every place. Gas cylinders have been given. Water has reached many places, but that is true. And most important thing, the way I see it, Article 370 has been abrogated, which is wonderful. And at the same time, Ram Mandir has been created, which was an emotional win for the whole nation. Granted, that is true, and you cannot take away. But now let's come to the other side. I want to just make one point. A good coach gives constructive feedback. When an athlete does not perform, should he remain quiet? And if he remains quiet, is he a good coach? And if he remains quiet, will the athlete ever improve? So I am talking about something called constructive feedback.
You always said that you give advice to be effective and improve, not to sound good, something like that you said in the past.
See, Annurag, there are many people who would rather be ruined by false praise than be helped by constructive criticism. I repeat this sentence. There are many people who would rather be ruined by false praise than be helped by constructive criticism. So I am going to share with you some constructive feedback, because you in your heart, you are a patriot, you feel for the country, so do I. So that is why we have to talk straight. Okay, now most important thing that we have to start looking at it, there's massive unemployment. 40 to 50% of the graduates are unemployed. 18 million people are coming to the age of 18 every year. That means 18 million new jobs have to be created every year, which is not happening right now. Right this minute, 800 million people are being given food every day. Sadly, obviously, they are poor, that's why they are hurting. Now, these numbers that you just talked about, GDP, it is 8.2 and so on. Till earlier, it was less, 7% and so on. We don't know, but whatever that number happens to be, it is considered to be the highest in the world. That's what they say.
That is not debatable.
But question is, how accurate are these numbers? Arun Kumar, economist, I have a lot of respect for him from JNU. He was here, and he said, Shiv, you have to check how did they calculate these numbers? What basis have they adjusted for inflation? And when you address for inflation, are you looking at it wholesale index or retail index? Which index are you talking about? And if the GDP is going up, then why is the rupee falling down? It is 91. Is it going to be 95? Is it going to be 100? Look, all the currencies all over the world are going up. Rupee is the only one that is falling down. What does it show? Why does a currency go down? You know why? Whenever there is loss of confidence in the economy or politically or anywhere, somewhere, the currency starts falling down.
But Mr. Khera, just to, since I know about economy a little bit, I accept your point. There has been some criticism of the GDP number. But one thing you cannot argue about is the amount of inward FDI, the amount of confidence every major investor in the world has in India, and the amount of money they are putting in India, and the wealth creation that is happening in India. Look at the stock markets, look at the price of gold, silver, look at the real estate boom, look at the number of millionaires. I mean, I can keep giving you. So, you know, there is economic abundance, right? Is a certain country trying to prove a point by driving down our currency? That's one theory, right? Because while there may be employment that needs to be generated, you're right, we need to generate more. But a lot of positive indications come from the large companies outside India, private investors outside India, who are choosing India again and again, are committing large amounts of money. So, India is economically doing well. There are areas we need to improve, no question. So, I am saying that to say that confidence in India is coming down, I know lots to improve in India, but to say confidence in India coming down, I don't think so. I'd like to disagree with you on that.
That's perfectly fine. I respect that, and especially because you are well versed with economics. So really, obviously, you are talking based on certain facts, which I respect, no doubt about that. But let me clarify. You said gold is going up, silver is going up.
Globally.
Globally. You know why? Whenever there is global uncertainty, economic uncertainty, always gold and silver is a hedge. That's why people jump and run into gold and silver. That is showing uncertainty economically all over the world. That's why gold is going up. Otherwise, gold would not go up like this, nor would silver. So that is one thing which is clear for ages, centuries like this.
Sure.
That's one part. Now, coming to that, on to the FDIs, you were right. It happened a few years ago. FDIs were coming, FIIs were coming into India, and so on at that point. But go look at the last 1-2 years, FDI has been going out, one. Number two, FIIs have pulled out from here. And not only that, you see, we want India to become a wealth creative engine. This should be a wealth creative engine, then only it will go up. But forget getting money here. Why are the HNIs, the rich Indians, why are they leaving India, sir? And when a rich Indian multimillionaire goes out of India, they don't go alone, they carry their money along with it. They do carry their money. Go check out in the last 16 months, over 10,000, give or take these numbers, over 10,000 people have taken residence overseas, Dubai, Ireland, Singapore. They moved out of it. They became NRIs. They carry their money. But keep in mind, they take their money along. And every multimillionaire that walks away from here, he takes hundreds and hundreds of jobs away from this country. One. And number two is, you talked of investments coming into here. See, go back, and this is a little dated, though I accept that. POSCO came in 2008. And they stayed here for 10 years. They brought in $12 billion. After that, they got frustrated. They packed up and left $12 billion. Now, of course, they have re-signed now with, I believe, the Jindal fact or somebody. They've re-signed only recently. But there are other companies like Hewlett Packard and many others who wanted to set up the manufacturing. They left. And go back about 4, 5, 6 years ago, when people were disgruntled with China. If this came out, I think in your paper or somewhere, 52 companies left China and they moved out. 29 of them went to Vietnam, some went to Indonesia, some to Thailand, only 3 came to India. Now, I want to bring one more point to you, sir. And that is that today India has become the second highest mobile producers in the world and exporters in the world too.
Sure.
But wait a minute, we are manufacturing that which they say we are manufacturing it. There was a wonderful interview by Ajay Chaudhary, who was the HCL guy.
He's now head of the quantum mission for the country.
And he said, and he's right, I know him, and he said, look, we are only assembling, we are not manufacturing here. We are only assembling. 90% all the parts are coming from there. The value addition is just this bit, little bit. And every year there is $100 billion of deficit with China alone. With China alone. Now, is that a good sign? Why are people
we have a long way to go.
No,
but let's look at the positives.
No, I see my most important thing, the positive is that they have now setting up 4 factories of semiconductors here. That's a very big positive. But why are we talking this? Even Ajay Chaudhary, when he talked about it, he feels for the country. He said, why don't you manufacture it here? Why don't you bring it here? And 75% of the pharmaceutical drugs we are importing from China, processing it and then sending it outside, 75%. Why are we not manufacturing it here? So what is the value addition? Look, India is become the biggest importer of oil, and we are also the biggest importer of gold. Do you know we import the highest gold in the world? For what? Manufacturing jewelry, basic, and putting it into the wallet, into the safety vaults. You know something? Do you know how many 1,000 tons of gold is lying in our temples? Billions and billions. Can this country afford to throw 100, 230, whatever billion dollars in getting gold into here and putting into debt investment? We can't afford to do it. There are people who are starving, they are hurting badly, and you and I are feeling pinch because it hurts all of us.
Sure. But let me ask you, okay, we'll come to the economic debate. I know India has achieved, but one of the things, the Prime Minister has done a lot of things, he's tried to raise the consciousness, but can the leader of the nation change the civic habits of a society? They are the responsibility of the individuals, of the families, of the communities. In my view, I think we have to improve our habits. You recently came from Singapore conducting your program, and you spent a lot of time in Singapore. And a lot of Indians that have shifted to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, they don't do the same behavior they do in India. So I want to focus a little bit that in 2026, how do we change the civic habits of people? We honk so much on the roads. We don't care about littering on the roads. 2 days back, there has been this untoward incident of a boy from Northeast getting lynched and dying in Dehradun because he looks a little different than others. We are very, very low in the civic index, if I have to say. How do we fix that?
Sir, give me 3 minutes since you brought the point of Singapore. Let me clarify, very important. And at the end, I will conclude with one little thing. There are many skeptics who talk all kinds of stuff and they make excuses. Singapore got independence in 1965. They don't have drinking water. They have no oil. They have no natural resource. They don't even have land. And do you know right now, 33% of Singapore land is reclaimed land. They have nothing. Zero, no natural resource. It was the drug capital of Asia, drug capital. Corruption was rampant. And in fighting communal problems were heavy communal problems. And Malaysia threw them out. They said because they are a liability. You know what communal problems are? You see, they were Chinese, Malay, Tamil and Eurasians and all put together, and they were all major issues, and everything was messed up, and it was a poor land with nothing to eat. Sir, now Lee Kuan Yew, one man took over, only one man. And he said, I will make this country a global power. And he did. And today, it is the financial capital of the world. London, New York is not anymore. Hong Kong is not. Those days are gone. It's past. Singapore currency is the strongest currency in the world. And 98% of Singaporeans own their own home. Now, how did this man build up with nothing? Zero pollution. You see, this man said, I'm going to build Singapore on 5 principles. Now, this is what is going to answer your question. 5 principles. 1, zero corruption. Zero tolerance to corruption. Do you know, within last 2 years, there was a minister who found corrupt and he was put into jail, convicted. And guess what he had taken? Probably a bike, I could stand corrected, and probably a trip to somewhere, London or somewhere, in a private plane. And he was put into jail. In China, minister was hanged publicly. Do you know, last year, these figures are fresh in my mind, we were at 86 at the Corruption Index, Transparency International. We are now at 96, means we have dropped, we have become more corrupt. China has gained 16 points, they have become 66. Now, just think about it, zero corruption. Singapore, Denmark, Finland, New Zealand, they are the most honest countries in the world. 1. Sir, please take it constructively, because it's hurting all of us. We're not happy. We're not gossip mongers. You see, in this country, a person is found corrupt. What happens? He becomes a bigger leader. You see, this guy in the judge was found with all stacked cash. What happened? He was just transferred from one place to the other. What happened? You tell me one thing. And I have to admire the CGI right now. The guy who's there right now, Suryakant or somebody, whose so motto has taken the issue on Aravali, and he said he's put a stay order on it. So motto. I respect him. After many years, I am seeing a judge who means substance for the country. I respect that. Okay. Now, this is where we are talking about. You tell me, for the last 7 years, NEET papers get leaked every year. You tell me, what is happening to our children? And are you aware that 5 to 10 crore Bangladeshis and Rohingyas have come into India? By the way, the 5 crore figure is admitted in the Supreme Court. What happens? They pay $2,000 at the border, cross the border, 2,000 with Aadhaar card and 2,000 with election card. Tell me, are we heading for a civil war? Are we heading for one more partition? Don't we see what is going on? What is going on in Manipur? Don't you see what is happening in Assam? Don't you see what is a Kashmir-like situation is erupting in West Bengal? People, Murshidabad, they're running from there. Similarly, and now he said zero corruption. 1. Number 2, he said there are 5 languages. Mandarin, Malay, Tamil, this, and they're communal fighting. He said, no. He said, shut up everybody. One language, English language for everybody. He cleared it. Number 3, he said, in this country, merit will be the criteria, no reservation. Merit will be the criteria, no reservation. And number 4, he said, I will build human capital. I will build human capital. What is human capital? You see, I had a guy from Niti Aayog come in and they say we are spending 5-6 lakh crores of rupees in skill development and so on. And when I took the mic, I said, sir, you are the advisory body to the Prime Minister. Please take this one message that, sir, nations are not built on skills, they are built on character. You have a skillful doctor who lacks character, will do useless surgeries, useless procedures. To them, a sick person is not a patient but a target. To a skillful lawyer who lacks character, a matter that can be resolved in 5 hearings will take 500 hearings. To a skillful judge who lacks character, will give judgments, no justice. Go check what Justice Verma, who was a CJI, said. Go look at Shanti Bhushan's affidavit, who has submitted in the Supreme Court that 8 out of 16 Chief Justices are corrupt. What happened to the file? He is pushed under the rug. Now you just think about it, what is going. Today, this system protects the criminal, punishes the honest people. Is this how you're going to make a Viksit Bharat? And then, wait a minute, to a civil servant who is skillful but lacks character will himself become mafia. To a skillful politician who lacks character will sell his country for money. Today, 50% of parliamentarians have criminal records and some terrible criminal records. My friend, and number 5 that Lee Kuan Yew said, he said, I will incentivize talent and investment into Singapore. I will incentivize. And look at billionaires from all over the world are flying in there, gaining their billions, and they've got the world best talent. Now, there are skeptics who will look at me and say, oh, Shiv Khera, what the hell are you talking? Singapore is such a small country, place. It is nothing. It is less smaller than Delhi. It is easy. You know what? They are people who are making excuses. They are skeptical. They never want to see India rise up. So they will always make excuses. इसका मैं जवाब देता हूँ आपको. My answer is, sir, if you do not have integrity and discipline, can you handle a family of 5 people? You cannot. So what size are we talking about? झूठ बोलते हैं साहब ये. And then they say our system is messed up. No. Who created the system? You created the system. You are in power. And you know, people in power, they like a messed up system. You know why? When they do wrong, nobody can find out who did wrong. In a clean system, a corrupt person is found out immediately and they'll catch up. So they like the system to be messed up. The more messed up we are, you don't find out who is doing wrong. Sir, you and I are talking this because it is hurting you and hurting me.
So how will we...
Do you see what I'm saying, sir?
Sure.
But do you see the 5 things how Lee Kuan Yew did? You are asking for answers. Sir, आप एक बात बताओ, जिस country में honest people can't go to court, it takes 20-25 years. Do you know Kenya takes 2 years, Rwanda takes 7 months, Singapore takes 1 year, Japan takes 10 months. Look, it can be done. आपको मैं एक छोटा सा उदाहरण देता हूँ. It can be done. In fact, I put in my some document, I wanted to bring it public. Tell me, right now 5.5 crore cases are pending. It will take 350 years to clear the backlog and the way it is happening. Tell me, hotels, hospitals, airports, everything run 3 shifts. Why can't we run courts 2 shifts? I'm talking solution. Why can't we run courts 2 shifts? Do you need any new building, new infrastructure? Nothing. Same court. You see, 8 to 4, 4 to 12. Why can't we run it? And 35% of the seats in the judiciary are lying vacant for the last 10 years. Tell me, sir, 150 crore आदमियों में इनको जज नहीं मिलता, sir? You know something? The problem is with us. The political will is missing. Sir, the political missing. It is doable. We are not the first country with problems. We are the first country who's not coming with solutions. You know something? This is what we are talking about. And there are many countries. Look at it. South Korea had a lower GDP than us. South Korea, and the same thing, China was nowhere close. At 1989, they were below under us here. Same thing, all these countries, they've done it. Little country, Taiwan, otherwise Japan. What is it?
Vietnam.
Vietnam, right, sir?
Look
Today-
at the number of manufacturing jobs going to Vietnam, textile manufacturing going there. Look at what they're doing there in tourism. So I agree with you. Now you live in Delhi. One of the biggest things that has hit us in the last 30 days is the air pollution. Right. The quality of air, it impacts you, impacts me, impacts everyone who's watching that. What are we doing about that? It happens every year.
Sir, next week I'm filing a PIL in the Supreme Court. And hear this on pollution. And this has been going on for the last 10 years. And they keep talking, इसी दोनों जगह double engine की सरकार हो जाएगी, तो we will do this, do that, do that. But a year has passed. Year is a long time. कोई कहता है ये साल में कैसे हो सकता है? आप 10 साल भी नहीं कर सकते. अगर नहीं करना तो नहीं करना है. But let me share with you one remedy to a, this is one remedy. It's not the final remedy. To pollution is one, disposal of dead bodies. This is my PIL is getting ready. Next week it will be submitted in the court. Disposal of dead body. For Hindu dead bodies, cremation, it consumes 350 to 400 kilos of wood per cremation on one dead body. And IMF has said that it consumes 60 million trees a year. Sir, 60 million trees. You tell me, why can't we make it a law that electric crematorium ought to be there in the whole country? That should be the law. अब एक और बात है, during COVID, there was many people died at that time, and I'm talking of निगम बोध घाट जमुना के पार के वहाँ पर है, उनके पास 6 इलेक्ट्रिक क्रेमेटोरियम्स हैं. Do you know, आधा किलोमीटर लाइन लगी हुई थी बाहर जाके, क्योंकि 4 इनके इलेक्ट्रिक क्रेमेटोरियम काम नहीं कर रहे थे. अब बताओ, सरकार काम नहीं करे तो मैं क्या करूं इसको? अब आप कहते हो कि प्रॉब्लम, ये एक क्रेमेटोरियम की 2-4 नट ठीक करने में, क्रेमेटोरियम क्या है? इस रॉकेट साइंस. उसको 4 नट ठीक करने में चला नहीं सकते क्या? इज दिस हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू रन द होल प्लेस? व्हाट आर वी टॉकिंग? दिस इज मैन मेड. This is all man-made. Whoever is in charge should be fired on the spot or even hanged at the India Gate. 4 मिनट में सब सीधे हो जाएंगे. 4 मिनट में सब सीधे हो जाएंगे. सब, मैं आपको एक और बात बताऊं आपको. आप कहते हो ना कि यहां पर ठीक कैसे करना है. मैं आपको एक बहुत अच्छा उदाहरण देता हूं, एंड प्लीज टेक दिस वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सर, किसी ने कहा कि सब आप प्रधानमंत्री बन जाओ तो आप क्या करोगे, कितनी देर लगेगी आपको? मैंने कहा 90 डेज, ओनली 90 डेज टू स्ट्रेटन दिस कंट्री एंड जस्ट गिव मी द इंडियन डिफेंस सर्विसेज बिहाइंड मी. पूरी हिंदुस्तान की फौज मेरे पीछे रख दो और मेरे को सिर्फ 90 दिन का टाइम दे दो, मैं यहाँ पे सीधा कर दूंगा सबको. कहता है कि वो कैसे? एंड दिस वाज इन फैक्ट दिस,
I know you've stood for elections in the past.
No. Smita Prakash did an interview on with me and I share with you. मैंने कहा साहब कैसे, शी आस्क्ड मी कैसे करेंगे? मैंने कहा साहब मैं आपको, आई वांट टू टेक यू बैक अबाउट 40-50 years ago when it was undivided Punjab. आपको याद होगा अनुराग, Cairo was the first chief minister. Like any chief minister, उनके लड़के गुंडे बदमाश लड़कियों को उठा लेते हैं, इधर उठते हैं. तो his son also, they were doing the similar thing. So there were 3 ladies who were going, and these guys, Cairo's son, they troubled them, and I don't know, literally to the point of molestation. I'm not sure what it is, but they were harassed. They were the wives of some Fauji's, soldiers. One of the ladies called her husband कि यार ये हम लोग को तंग कर रहे हैं, परेशान कर रहे हैं, we need help. So the husband said, आप वहीं रुको, we'll come. साहब उन्होंने ट्रक भरी, सब सोल्जर्स के साथ इकट्ठे कर लिए भरी है. And the commandant, if I recall, was Commandant Colonel Jyoti Das. I'm not sure, but the commandant was there at that time. ये सारे भर के चले गए साहब ट्रक में जवान लेके, और उनको मालूम हो गया कि भाई ऐसे फौज की पूरी आ रही है वहाँ पे. They ran around and I think there was a cinema hall. They went into the cinema hall and they hid themselves. And these guys circled around the cinema hall. सर एक सीट उठा के कॉकरोच जैसे निकालते हैं ना, बाहर निकाला इनको पकड़ के, और बाहर निकाल के वहाँ से ये घसीट के ले गए इनको, वहाँ से इनको पिटाई शुरू की इनकी. Now, there may be some people who may agree or disagree. I'm not getting into any debate, but just hear this out, what happened. And they took them into the cantonment. Cantonment mein, when Khera came to know that his sons never showed up, he tried to figure out, and later on he came to know that these guys were taken by the army people and they are in the cantonment. He said, I want to come and visit. Now, in the cantonment, the commander is the king. He said, Khera ki gaadi nahi aayegi mere andar. Usko bahar khado, usko bahar. He walked outside from the cantonment, पैदल अंदर आया, देख रहा था what happened with his sons. He immediately called the Prime Minister Nehru. मेरे बच्चों को छुड़ाओ. तो नेहरू ने कहा मैं अभी चेक करता हूँ. तो he called the Chief of Army Staff. It was General Thimayya at that time. And General Thimayya said, well, let me check up what is going on here. Then he checked up, and 10 minutes later he called Nehru and he said, my boys are only protecting the respect and dignity of their women and children who were being harassed on the street. And those, if my people, my boys cannot protect the dignity of their women and children, they cannot protect the dignity of the country. Stay out. Stay out! Sir, answer is, you have to put the country's interest above your own, and you have to be able to take some hard decisions. You cannot tushti-karan, and appeasement is not the answer. And if this is how nations are destroyed, by just doing appeasement, it never works. And cowards and corrupt can never create a great nation. I repeat, English language. Cowards and corrupts can never create a great nation. You have to take some bold decision. And all I can say is, since Netaji Subhash, India has not seen a good leader. We need a good leader. You have to take a stand. And that's the key. There is no other answer. You have to take hard decisions.
Now let me see one. Again, you said this in your book.
अच्छा एक मिनट मैं आपको पोल्यूशन की आप बात कर रहे थे. Now I was coming to this, the case that is coming up. One is the disposal of Hindu dead bodies. Second is the disposal of non-Hindu dead bodies, which is Christians and Muslims. And you see today all the burial grounds are full, packed. They are asking for more burial grounds. What, do you want to make the whole country into burial grounds? Now there are countries like England, Germany, Singapore, they have no land. They have no land. How do they handle these burial grounds? Do you know in Singapore there is a law that every 15 years all graves have to be recycled? Nobody has a problem. Sir, there are solutions. मैं जो आपसे बात कर रहा हूं ना, I am talking of solutions. मैं खाली problem की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं. I am talking of solutions, and solutions exist, and people have implemented, and they have done a good job, and they have served the country. That's all. You see, you can run this country very well. Annurag Batra, you are running such a big organization, business. No, listen to me. All you have to do, you know what qualification you need? Just put the country's interest above your own. That's it.
I have a lot to improve in what I do.
We all have
in
to
personal and professional life. But I get your point. Now let me ask you a philosophical question. You wrote a book, your first book called You Can Win, right? Now winning has become equal to material gains.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest issue in my view. What do you have to say? You know, I talk to Gen Zs and millennials, the pursuit of material good is being placed over everything. It's putting pressure on their mental health. They have misplaced priorities, misplaced targets. What do you have to say? How should we define winning in 2026?
Sir, may I ask you a question?
Sure.
Where do this Gen Z that you did mention, where are they learning all these things?
From their parents.
Either from the parents
or society.
Or society right
The role
here.
models.
Role models. And where are the good role models? All they see is a corrupt person buys a Mercedes, a corrupt person buys a BMW.
But sir, we should not generalize. A lot of people who do the right things also, it's not necessarily that good people finish last.
No.
But I get you what you're saying.
No. I'll answer this thing. You are right, absolutely, that it's not that good people finish last. There are many good people and who are very honest. Like Narayan Murthy, Ratan Tata, Godrej, these people have made money the honest way. These people have made money the honest way. And you know, I've deleted a few names. And bottom line is, Tatas, Ratan Tata, and the Infosys, they're clean, honest people. Even Wipro guy, these people have done a great job. Now, you know something, I was addressing a large group of people, and there were some very clean entrepreneurs there. I said, it is people like Ratan Tata and Narayan Murthy, they have done the biggest disservice to this country. Hear this, biggest disservice. You know, running a company like Tata's, you know, that is, their turnover is more than GDP of many countries. And if you can run an organization like that successfully on a value-based thing, you can bloody well run the country well. इतनी बड़ी कंपनी जो है, running such a big conglomerate successfully with integrity, damn it, why can't you run the country? They have done disservice. They ought to be there. So this answers your question. Yes, they are good people. And those are your role models. But that's what you need. And they ought to come in position of power. Without power, you can't do a thing. And you कहते हैं ना कि power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. No. Power only corrupts those who are corruptible to begin with. But some people who did the greatest good to the world also did from the position of power. Sure. Lee Kuan Yew did it. That's how other people did it.
Nelson Mandela.
Sir, you have got all the answers. That's what we are talking about. You got the answer. You don't need to ask.
But for young people and managers who are young, how should one define winning? Because winning is important to everyone. Winning in life, winning in what? How do you think a young people should define winning?
Sir, all I can say to you is, now please take this very crucial. Winning is an event in life. Being a winner is a spirit. Let me qualify this statement. Ruben Gonzalez was playing the world title on racquetball. It was game point. He hit the final shot. Lineman referee confirmed the shot was good. He was declared the winner, and the world title was to transfer. Gonzalez hesitated. He went to his opponent and said, the game is not over. The shot was faulty. Lineman referee didn't see it. Let's play again. Service changed. He lost the match. Hindi picture mein to jita dete hain na. You see, he lost the match. But when he was leaving the court, people stopped and asked him, Gonzalez, what did you do? You could have legally walked away with the world title, legally. Why didn't you do it? And Gonzalez said, this was the only thing I could do to maintain my integrity. And he said, had I taken the title and come home and see it, it would not be a reminder of my victory, but it will become a permanent reminder of my dishonesty and cheating. What was he saying in unsaid words, Annurag?
The moral contract is more important than legal contract.
What was he saying? In unsaid words, I would rather deserve a medal and not have it than have it and not deserve it. Which means what? It is better to be honorable than to be honored. आज की तारीख में भारत रत्न मिल जाते हैं, पद्म श्री मिल जाती है, फलाना मिल जाता है. इलेक्शन से पहले 5 आदमी को ओवरनाइट भारत रत्न मिल गए. क्या बात हो गई? उन्होंने भगवान जाने क्या किया. कईयों ने डिससर्विस करी. एक बहुत बढ़िया उदाहरण आपसे शेयर करता हूँ मैं. This happened with the Marcos. You remember
Ferdinand Marcos?
Ferdinand Marcos, president of Philippines. He was convicted of embezzling billions of dollars, which was more than the debt of the country. He was convicted and exiled for 20 years. And then when he came back, when he died, his dead body was brought back to Philippines and given the honor of a state burial by the country. Honor of a state burial. अब मैंने जो किताब लिखी है, You Can Achieve More, I have quoted Lee Kuan Yew in this. At that time, Lee Kuan Yew made a statement. He said there is something wrong with the country and character of those people. He said somebody who has looted his mother, looted his country, and convicted for it, how can he be given an honor of a state burial? Honor! There is something wrong with the character of those people. Tell me, aren't we seeing that in India? मरता है करप्ट आदमी, उसके लिए ये मेमोरियल बन जाता है, दूसरा मेमोरियल बन जाता है, तीसरा मेमोरियल बन जाता है, या वहाँ पे आप एकड़ एकड़ ज़मीनें घेर रहे हो यहाँ पर बैठ के, उसकी मेमोरियल बन रही है, मेमोरियल बन रही है, मेमोरियल बन रही है. What is this going on? Sir, don't you see the comparisons what we are talking about, sir? Do we need a PhD to understand this? Do we need an economist to understand this? Do we need an MBA? Sir, kuch nahi chahiye. It's common sense. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
Sure. So, Mr. Khera, again, another, because your book title is You Can Achieve More. This pursuit of more is another issue. There is so much more, there are so many choices that we don't value what we have. We are always chasing more. Materialistically, I mean, you may have 6 books lying which you haven't read, but you're buying another 30 books.
Correct.
So I can keep giving you examples, but why don't you write a book? You should achieve less. The pursuit of less.
That's not a problem. You want to stay mediocre for the rest of your life, stay the way you are, and that's okay. किसी ने बहुत अच्छी बात, somebody said very well, if you want to succeed in life, just see what the masses are doing and do the opposite, you'll be successful. Because the masses through history have never been successful. Just do the opposite. Tell me, what is the best time to buy stocks? When the whole world is selling?
Sure.
Buy. And what do most people do?
Sell.
Opposite. See, that's what happens. So
going against conventional wisdom.
You have to, because in going against the grain takes a lot of guts and conviction. And there's a world of a difference between preferences and convictions in life. Preferences are negotiable. Convictions are not negotiable. And under pressure, preferences always become weak, convictions become strong. And that is the key.
Okay, let me ask you another question. Let me go back to my. In 2026, what would you like India and Indians to do to help us achieve the true potential of Indians? I mean, look at the number of CEOs globally who are Indians. Look at the prosperity in India. Though you could always argue that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. What should we do to be able to really build on the strengths that we inherently have?
सर, एक चीज कर लो, ये इसके लिए थीसिस पीएचडी करने की जरूरत नहीं है. इस देश में सिर्फ एक चीज, we have to take a movement. We need to get rid of corruption. That's
so character building in schools?
Only one. And for that, it has to start from the top. School से क्या करोगे आप? It does not go bottom up, it goes top down. वो बच्चा क्या करेगा? लोग कहते हैं आप करप्शन के खिलाफ मूवमेंट खड़े करिए, जंतर मंतर में जाओ, वहां पर 2 डंडे पड़ेंगे, 4 दिन के बाद अंदर पुलिस में डाल देंगे. क्या करेंगे? It has to start from the top. One man can do it. One person can do it. So you have to get rid of corruption. It will solve many problems. It will clean your judiciary. Had the judiciary done the job right, could you get even one criminal in the parliament? Never. So who messed up the first? If corruption was not there, would you have papers leaked up for NEET all the time? Never. Even now, do you know 50,000-60,000 people every year, medical students, go to China, Bangladesh, Nepal or Russia to do their medicine today? They are running away. And many of them go settle down. They don't want to come back. All these students that go, check out, take a survey. There was a survey by HG, which is 70% of people of the young generation wants to leave India. Point is, they love India. They don't want to leave India. You know what? It is the quality of life. अब आप छोटी सी एक बात बताओ आपको, यू आर अ टैक्स पेयर, पे करते हो. आप एक बात बताइए कि देर आर सो मेनी इश्यूज दैट आर क्रिएटिंग प्रॉब्लम फॉर टैक्स फॉर अ ऑनेस्ट टैक्स पेयर टुडे. You see, I met a guy, he said मेरे को 2003 की 2004 की टैक्स रिटर्न के ऊपर नोटिस आ गया. Now वो कहता है जी आपने चालान नहीं भरा, आपने इतने पैसे नहीं दिए, और 10 लाख का हिसाब था, अब 2 करोड़ की पेनल्टी वेनल्टी लगा के सारा बिल बन गया. वो कहता है कि गेट मी पेपर्स टू वेरीफाई 2003. He said legally I am supposed to be keeping only 8 to 10 years, no more. No more. How do I get you for that? You tell me, why are you harassing? अब दूसरी, there are so many things that, are you aware that all people who file their balance sheets and profit and loss, they have 2 depreciation accounts? Are you aware of the 2 depreciation accounts? One is for registrar, the other is for income tax. Tell me, I've asked so many accountants, including Mr. Nanda, why do you have 2 depreciation accounts? He said, I don't know. I don't know. But this gives you more. I said, well, just keep one, give them more. Why do you have it? Sir,
so it's not integrity.
Sir, this is so simple. It is common sense. Look at this, Anurag. You are into the business world. You are addressing more business issues all over. Look at this. I deduct GST from here, from you. I got the money from you. I am supposed to be depositing to the treasury. I don't. Who is penalized? You are penalized. You will not get credit. Who is the defaulter? I am the defaulter. But who is being penalized? You are. Tell me, does it make sense?
Sure. But let me. So I know these are things that need to be corrected. But let me, you know the biggest issue facing India is, in young people, since you talked of, is mental health. 15% of Indians are suffering from some kind of mental health. This is 15% diagnosed who've gone. Another 10 to 15% have not even felt a need to go and, possibly diagnose and then correct. How do you deal with the issue of mental health amongst young people and,
Sir, ek baat batao. Talk is cheap, and we are doing all these things. If you and I were in their situation and we didn't know where the next meal is going to come, you would be depressed and I would be depressed. Sir, खाली हर चीज कहानियां घुमा फिरा के झूठ बोलने से काम नहीं होता. We keep bloody telling lies, get out, do this, cheer up, energize, and dump like a monkey. Stupid! How can you do it on an empty stomach? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You would be depressed, I'd be depressed. What are we talking? Sir, we can't talk rubbish. Talk is cheap.
So you're saying,
we have to get to the bottom. And I got another PIL, in Nota is another PIL that I have filed. We want to get criminals out of the parliament. Nota is a very big thing. Why did these people, in fact, my first petition brought in the Nota on the ballot paper. Now my second petition is saying Nota is useless. These so-called intellectual people, what did they do? Nothing. Judgment that came here. See, we are saying today Nota wins with 90% and 1% somebody else get votes. Who wins? That 1% Nota loses. आज क्या हो रहा है? 50-60% of the votes are being cast by the electoral people. Now, why don't people cast ballot? Go there. कहता किसको जाके वोट दें साहब? They are all not qualified people, and even on Times Now, who is this lady Navika Kumar, she had interviewed with the finance minister. बोले आपकी तो washing machine है, बड़ा criminal होता है, आप लेके आ जाते हो, उसको टिकट दे देते हो आप, कहाँ हम तो सबको दे देते हैं. That's what they said. And there were names that they mentioned, Ajit Pawar and a few other names that they mentioned about. By the way, this is not new. They mentioned it. And it's still there. My point I'm trying to make is that look at the whole system. People don't want to go to vote. And if they say, I go to vote, who do I vote for? So what do? They vote for either their caste or they vote for the weakest criminal. Now the weakest criminal wins. He's got power, he becomes the strongest criminal. Tell me, is this democracy? Did you want him to win? Does he represent you? This is the biggest mockery of democracy. This is not democracy. हम करें कि make Nota as a candidate. If Nota wins, then all these candidates should be disqualified from that constituency, one election and one upcoming election. अच्छा, और दूर की बात बताते हो, since you are into finance and taxation, let's talk one more thing. Do you know money laundering has literally become legalized here? Money laundering is legalized here. How is that?
On the contrary, there are more draconian laws to prevent money laundering or to punish people who may have done it. The new PMLA is really, really strong.
But you tell me, today, how is money laundering taking place? Agriculture income is tax free. Now, you tell me there are multi-millionaires who have got a little farm there, and they're declining 10 crore, 20 crore, 50 crore, 100 crore. Even, I think one of the previous finance minister, he said, मैं गमलों में फूलगोभी उगा रहा हूँ और इतने करोड़ मेरे को आ रहा है. You tell me one thing, आपकी एग्जेम्पशन कितनी है? 5 लाख है, 12 लाख है, आपकी एग्जेम्पशन 12 लाख है ना. आप फार्मर्स को आप 20 लाख कर दो, 25 लाख कर दो, 50 लाख कर दो यार, एग्जाम 50 लाख कर दो ना उनको. But you can't, what do you mean you can't tax income? This is the biggest, all money from politicians and corrupt bureaucrats and even the business people, वो सारा इधर से पैसे उधर घुमाते हैं और सारे उसके पास 1 एकड़ 2 4 एकड़ जमीन है और वहाँ से 10 करोड़ 50 करोड़ फाइट बन जाता है. क्या यार, what a joke. Are we stupid? Tell me, isn't it happening every day? What the hell are we doing? And if you and I know it, don't they know it? Look at how the country, and by the way, the previous 12 years, the government was a full majority, 350 seats. And look at what was going on in West Bengal. They should have put a president rule there. And look at how the whole Punjab has been destroyed, youth has been destroyed with drugs. They should have put a president rule. The government would not have fallen. Nobody, nothing.
These are very, very bold moves.
Sir, somebody needs to put the country's interest at heart and take those decisions.
Okay,
and I'll tell you one thing, they would have won 400 seats. मैं ठीक कह रहा हूँ, अब की बार 400 पार, they would have got 400 had they done this.
Let me flip it. See, I am an optimist in spite of all this, and so are you. Tell me, what are the things, as we're entering 2026, what are the things you're most optimistic about in India?
My optimist part is our youth is still hopeful. That's my big power. And you see, your 65% of youth is below age 35, but you know something, you need to also look at the quality of our population. 5% or more are disabled. That's a big number. Do you know that comes to about almost 100 million people? That's a massive number. And many of these, 50% of our kids are suffering below age 5, suffering from malnutrition. 50% of our women are suffering from anemia. Sir, quality of our population. See, this is we have to look at, are we encashing our youth age, or is it a time bomb? We have to start looking at it. We have to understand exactly, we need to make sure that they are channelized in the right direction, and I still feel that our youth is where they are still hopeful, they still believe in the country, and they still have the feeling, I want to die for my country. But you know, dying doesn't do the job. We have to fight for our country.
Fantastic. My last question. No conversation can be complete without the mention or discussion about the role artificial intelligence is playing in our lives. If you're a motivator, author, activist, I run a content business. What do you have to say about AI?
Sir, AI is a tool to be used just like computers came 20 years ago. AI is one more tool in the hands of people. So, most important thing is, today with the speed of change, the way things are happening, Products are getting obsolete the day they're getting launched. And knowledge is getting obsolete within 3 to 4 years. Look at engineering medical graduates. By the time they get to the 4th year, what they learned the first year became obsolete. Now, with this kind of a scenario, Anurag, either we are in deep trouble or there's a great opportunity for those who are prepared. True?
Sure.
Now, wait. It has literally become a cliche. The only constant is change. Now, with that, I wrote an article that is there anything else in this world that is constant? And if there is, then let's master the constants. Then we are prepared for the future. I wrote an article which I'm sending out to other people. I think I might have sent it to you also for publication. And I wrote in that going to the future, the only people who will succeed in life are those who master 3 skills. They have never changed and they will never change. And that's the message to our youth today. And the 3 skills are: 1, people skills; 2, persuasion skills; and 3, prioritizing skills. Now, why do I say people skills? Go check out all over the world. We don't have business problems, we have people problems. And when we take care of our people problems, most of our business problems are automatically resolved, number 1. Number 2, go check out through history. Our parents, their parents, their parents, their parents. We are hired for our skills, but we are fired for our behavior. Not only as an employee, even as a consultant. 3, you notice the lower a person is in life, 90% of time goes in technical skills, less than 10% people skills. Higher you go up, it just reverses. Now, technology and technicians you can always buy with money, which will keep changing. Today it's AI, tomorrow it'll be BI, then it'll be CI, and then DI, and then EI. What are you going to do? Technology and technicians you can always buy with money. But the wealthiest person in the world must build and create relationships. And I was addressing a business school and I asked these people, what's the difference in sales and marketing? The guy says, oh, B2B, B2C, B2B, B2C. This is it, the big thick books that they talk about. I said, forget it. Everything transaction in this world now is P2P, it's people to people. People buy things from people they like. Then one person came up and they said, no, but what about e-commerce? They don't even see their people anymore. Look at Amazon. I said, my friend, go restudy what you have to. Why do people buy from Amazon? Trust. It is not the infrastructure. They have AI. They're not buying AI. They're buying trust. You know, because they know if I don't find something worthwhile, I can return it, get my money. They're not cheats and crooks and take your money. It is the trust factor. Don't you understand English? 1. See, I could go on. I'll stop here. See, 1 is people skills. 2nd is persuasion skills. Persuasion means 4 words. Ability to influence, negotiate, convince, and sell. 4 words. There are people who say, I'm into finance, I'm into IT, I'm into operation. I don't deal with people, so why do I need persuasion? They are demonstrating basic foolishness. Who doesn't need it? A candidate at a job interview, what's he doing? A boy girl proposing to get married, what are they doing? A lawyer arguing in front of the judge, what's he doing? A politician giving speeches to get votes, what's he doing? They're all persuading. And what am I doing in front of you? This is also persuasion too. And finally, I'll close it with prioritizing. Look at this, Anurag. The amount of time-saving devices we have today, we have never had that many in history. Yet we don't have what? We don't have time. Why? Because somewhere we messed up our priorities. And I'm guilty. And whenever we mess up our priorities, we forget to distinguish between what's urgent and what's important. And the funny thing is, whenever we ignore what is important, it converts into urgent. See, health is important, not urgent. Exercising every day is important, but not urgent. If I have a crucial meeting tonight, I'm not able to exercise, it's not the end of the world. But if I ignore my health long enough, guess what? I will land up in the hospital. So look at this. You ignore what is important, it converts into urgent. See, in life, relationships are important, but they're not urgent. But if you ignore relationship long enough, guess what happens? You start talking to your lawyers. Sir, I can go on and on. I'll stop right here.
But in this, what are Your priorities in 2026, only 3 for Mr. Shiv Khera.
My priority is to launch my academy and get my message of our leadership program, which says value-based leadership. And it says, subtitle, grow by creating a culture of trust and accountability. One, who doesn't want to grow? And two, can you grow without trust and accountability? And I want to just close this one little thing. And that is, most successful people are not geniuses, but many times they avoid stupid mistakes. They're not geniuses, but many times they avoid stupid mistakes. And one message for our youth today is, people say there's so much of competition out there. And I say to them, never in the history of mankind has it been so easy to succeed in life the way it is today. It's never been like this. You know why? They say, how come? And I asked people, I said, tell me, how many people do you know right now walking off the street who are willing to do a little bit more than what they get paid for? Answer is hardly any. Most people don't even want to do what they get paid for. There's a second big category of people who only want to do what they can get by with. There's a very small fraction of people who are willing to do a little bit more than what they get paid for. And I said, if you fall into that category,
Eventually you'll be paid.
tell me, where's your competition? See, you have no competition, you become the competition. Today, you can't find a good plumber, you can't find a good accountant, you can't have a good attorney, you can't find a good anything. Question is, are you willing to do a little bit more than what you get paid for? And that is the key. And one answer is, if you want to close it, if you want to buy things without looking at the price, start working without looking at the clock.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mr. Khera. We wish you a great 2026. May you inspire people, instill the thought that gets them to pursue excellence based on values. I'm sure with your vast impact both on individuals, corporates and leaders, you'll be able to contribute to this country by instilling the sense of values in people. Thank you for talking to BW Business World, and we'd love your feedback on this conversation with Mr. Shiv Khera. Thank you.
Thank you.